Bitter criticism, a regular show, a regular episode in which Milu is free to get stinky. But you know, Milu has some, and there he goes. That boy runs. Oh boy. Milu has a credit because, well, the rule is simply the rule is simple. If the dog gets stinky, he will spend 1 week with me, just like Mursi. I guess Mursi is proud of get stinky, of give no chance to, I don't know how to say, to not stinkiness. So Mursi is the biggest. Calma. So Mursi is the biggest agent of stinkiness in the world. Mursi give no chance to the so-called good smell. Come Mursi, venga. Come here, come baby. Mursi speaking English. Look, come here baby, come, jump here, jump, come. Mursi doesn't matter that much. Well, of course Mursi loves to be free, but Mursi doesn't care much about being with me neither, you know. There's no great difference, not a big thing. Well, we have news from Pepe Escobar just posted something, but I didn't read. I saved the news, but then I lost it. I take a PDF of the file, of a whole file. Venga, arriba. And well, but I have a news from yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know exactly. Maybe 2 days ago. It is a news about it's a Timur Fomenko news. So, Timur Fomenko news. I don't know exactly where it is. Just wait a second. Wait 1 second. It has to be 4 or May something. It has to be 21 May, yeah, May 21, yeah. Look, I'm gonna read that Timur Fomenko news because we love him. Look. Stay there, Mursi, stay there. No, I'm just gonna show you the chart. Timur Fomenko, the number 1, woo! Woo! Timur Fomenko! And that's it. And Pepe Escobar in second, just because I always say that Timur Fomenko is super clear, and I guess he's excited because he's Russian. I guess the more problems Russia have, the more exciting will be Timur Fomenko, because he kinda is fierce, he's kind of focused, you know. He's a warrior, he's a Mother Russia warrior. What about that? And it goes like this. May 21. No, this is the Timur Fomenko's article was from May 19. May 19. 2024 Home World News. And there's Milu. So Milu, if Milu doesn't get stinky, well, if Milu gets stinky, he will face bad. But by now he's there, he's fine. New Delhi. No, the news is the headline says, "Is the U.S. falling out of love with India?" What? Is the U.S. falling out of love with India? Like, yeah, it's just like you heard. The India and United States are loving each other. New Delhi may remain Washington's partner in some areas, but it will never be the proxy the Americans want. What? There will be never the proxy American want. By Timur Fomenko, political analyst. We have a photograph from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi attends the inauguration of the global trade show ahead of vibrant Gujarat Global Summit 2024 in Grand Hinar on January 9. That was Luna. You are stinky, Mursi. Mursi, you are stinky. Can you see? You only are here with us because you got to get stinky. Anyway, by Timur Fomenko, political analyst. After India pursued a deal with Iran on the Chabahar port, the US reported by threatening New Delhi with sanctions. This has exposed a possible growing geopolitical incompatibility between the two countries over the past several years, even as the US championed India as a critical strategic partner against China. Since 2017, the US has promoted India as one of its key partners. It even went so far as to rename an entire region the Indo-Pacific, eyeing New Delhi as a key strategic asset in its long-lasting strategic ambition of containing the rise of China. I was listening to a podcast. Yeah, I guess I love geopolitics. There was some, I don't remember, well, Schneider, I don't remember exactly, but it was an American geopolitical analyst. He was saying that there's a lot of articles studying the everybody in the region, like Pakistan with India, not India, but I don't remember now. Pakistan and Japan, like, everybody has strategies against China because it's yeah. But I guess nobody is trying to stop the United States, isn't it? So this is new. What's going on now is new. I mean, Iran stopping the United States. Thanks, Mursi, Soleimani, General Soleimani, yeah. I don't know how it's going. That we are gonna read the death of the Iran president later. Anyway, thus India was celebrated for its commitment to democracy, its potential as a new economic and manufacturing giant, and became part of a grouping known as the Quad, alongside Australia and Japan. New Delhi itself was happy to capitalize on these strategic overtures to enable its own economic and political rise as a great power. So a lot of windy here. As the wet soared on China Prime Minister Narendra Modi saw that India's time had come. All of a sudden, however, Timur Fomenko is saying all of a sudden. I don't like that expression because it's kind of trendy, you know. People just repeat it. Anyway, so a lot of important people are saying that. Even my classmate, a classmate I love, I will love forever. All of a sudden, yeah. All of a sudden, however, this newly found optimism for India melted away, despite Western economic engagement with the country growing. I guess I will never say all of a sudden because who knows, you know? Yeah, it's news and it's a new expression, but who cares? I mean, I love suddenly. Yeah, why not suddenly? Here we go. The squad. You are prison, Mursi. Mursi, you're stinking. That's why you're prison. The quad. The quad were recently. New Delhi appears increasingly estranged. No, I guess it's all of a sudden. However, this newly found optimism for India melted away despite Western economic engagement with the country growing. New Delhi appears increasingly estranged from U.S. objectives, even to the point that the Quad was recently marginalized in favor of a new grouping, dubbed the Squad. Oh, so it's not Quad, but a Squad, with the militarily proud U.S. Philippines under Ferdinand Marcos Jr. taking India's place. Oh, Milu is dirty. So it's gonna be a bad time, shower day for Milu. Anyway. It is as if the US believes Manila will do more to cooperate to anti-China objectives than New Delhi, such as joint military exercises. Thus, from close proximity, India appears to be falling into relative estrangement. What happened? First, India has an independent and strictly self-interested foreign policy. It might be willing to learn towards the U.S. for its own gain, but that does not make it an ally. The U.S. can subdue many countries into following its foreign policy objectives, such as Britain, the Baltic states, or the Philippines. Stinky Mursi, you are not free because you're stinky. What about that? I lost myself here. I lost Mursi. Where are you, Mursi? No. China, Delhi. Thus, from close proximity, India appears to be falling into relative estrangement. What happened? Yeah. First, India has an independent and strictly self-interested foreign policy. It might be willing to learn towards the US for its own gain, but that does not make it an ally. The US can subdue many countries into following its foreign policy objectives, such as Britain, the Baltic states, or the Philippines. But India only joins in if it sees fit. Talk to New Delhi being a part of an ideological cause for democracy and freedom. It's nonsense, and its leadership has never been such cooperation. Have never seen such cooperation in this way. Despite its grievances with China, India has no commitment to US unipolarity like Britain or Australia would support, and instead seeks to rise as a power in its own right in a multipolar world. Well, it's saying that so India is not in love with the United States. What about that? In doing so, India actively takes positions of disagreement with the US and its allies when it is necessary to do so. Over the past 2 years, these points of disagreement between New Delhi and the West have surged due to unavoidable changes in the international environment, which have increased the geopolitical conflict. India has had an interest in balancing the rise of China because it recognizes that it can benefit economically from supply chain and manufacturing realignments. However, the US-led foreign policy begins to attempt to crush all multipolarity for its own benefit. This becomes a strategic problem for India. Mursi, hold on. For India, and creates the divergence in the two nations' objectives. One particular example is the war in Ukraine. The US has sought to use the war as a means to attempt to economically and militarily cripple Russia. As nonsensical as this has been proven, thus seeking to eliminate one of India's key strategic partners in the field of energy and armaments. Why will India comply with the US-led sanctions regime? It did not, and even pursue currency changes to avoid it. Ukrainian victory will strategically weaken and isolate India, forcing it into a Western dependency scenario. Worse still, the war has unshared in an improvement in US relations with Pakistan following the removal and jailing of anti-US Prime Minister Imran Khan. The US, of course, tried to ignore and reconcile these differences for quite a while, even as it leaned on India's shoulder. But then a second issue emerged in this newly fraught geopolitical environment, the Israel-Gaza war. Many Indians support Israel, however, New Delhi also frames itself as a champion of the global south and recognizes that it will lose credibility if in towing the Western line of unconditional support for Israel's campaign of genocidal destruction. More importantly, though, the situation has also entailed increased Western conflicts with Iran, which is another strategic partner of India, a country with which it has historical and cultural ties, and is another critical energy supplier. As US tensions with Iran grow, India will not follow suit on Western pressure. Then finally, to top it all off, a recent Biden gave roughly figures in India when he called the nation xenophobic. All of this has had the effect of recalibrating India's balancing act on its foreign policy and distancing itself from the US. In conclusion, New Delhi may be a US partner in some areas, but It is not a US proxy. The two countries have very different visions for the emerging New World Order. India cannot accept US subjugation of the removal of its own strategic partners from the chessboard, which has quickly shifted Washington's starry-eyed vision of India being the newest global champion of freedom and democracy in pursuit of a unipolar world. The statement, views, and opinions expressed in this column are solely those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of Russia today. So this was a pretty regular. But here's my favorite still. What I guess is that all this will be a micro geopolitics, like journalism, isn't it? Like things that happened just last week or last month. But people say that definitely India, it is a global South champion, I guess. So India will not be a proxy from the United States, I guess nobody knows. I don't know Indian people, but they are not so. People say, I guess, they are not so simple-minded. India, of course, is the most populous country in the world. I guess few people know everything about India. What about India, Mursi? Do you know everything about India? Huh? Yes. I'm Buddha. Are you Buddha, Mursi? Mursi just have a injury here. A small one, baby. Do you like winter, Mursi? Here we are in winter right now, I guess. May 21st, 2024. Australia Prime Minister urges freedom for Assange. Nothing is served by the publisher continued imprisonment in the UK. Anthony Albanese has argued. I just gonna skip this because my critical opinion about myself and Snowden. Everybody knows the hegemon do anything they can to keep power, to keep the power of the world on his hands. So whatever Snowden discover is not a real discovery, It's just what everybody knows. Anyway, NATO states Prime Minister calls for breakup of Russia. It is not a bad thing when a big power becomes much smaller, Estonia's Kaja Kallas has said. Anyway, so it's a beautiful woman, Kaja Kallas. Call me Kaja. I love blonde woman. Anyway, Iran's president has died. What's next? Though this news is interesting. This is from May 20. I was listening that he was disappeared from a helicopter accident, an helicopter crash. She's probably completely dead. As everybody. Sebastián Piñera. Yeah, I like helicopters. If I was a trillionaire, I will give helicopters to all my enemies. What about that? So if people I don't like, here you have an helicopter. he will kill you. The helicopter will kill you. Anyway, home world news. Iran's president has died. What's next? Ibrahim Raisi, the leader of the Islamic Republic, has died in a helicopter crash. How will he be remembered? I was thinking about this case. I wonder about Argentina right now. What about Argentina's president just died? That would be a bless, But let's see. What about Ibrahim Raisi? Iranian president Ibrahim Raisi. A photograph. the Iranian authorities have officially confirmed that a helicopter crash on May 19 resulted in the death of President Ebrahim Raisi, as well as eight others. Among the victims were Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian, the governor of East Azerbaijan province Malik Ramati, and Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's representative in Tabriz, Imam Mohammed Ali al-Hasham. As stipulated by Article 131 of the Iranian Constitution, Vice President Mohammad Mokhber will temporarily assume the duties of the president for 50 days until a new presidential election is organized by a special council. But you know, Iran is an autocracy, it's an Islamic autocracy. I'm not sure, if you know, the most important people, they are not the president, I guess. I'm pretty ignorant about this, but I guess it's the Islam Council. How it happened? The news that Raisi helicopter had initially gone off radar before making a crash landing was reported by Iranian news agencies at around 30 p.m. GMT the previous day. Conflicting reports then surfaced, many of which turned out to be false. Initially, it was reported that the president and all others on board had survived and were en route of Tabriz in a motorcade. This was later contradicted. There was a later false claim that contact had been made with some passengers and that rescue teams were heading to the crash site. Conducting the operation to reach the site was extremely challenging to the adverse weather conditions and the difficult terrain of Iran's East Azerbaijan province. There were reportedly 3 helicopters in the presidential convoy, and the other 2 carrying ministers and officials reached their destination safely. Raisi was returning from a meeting with Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. The 2 leaders had participated in the opening ceremony at the GIS Galaxy Dam Maidan Tower in Azerbaijan, on the border between their countries. The heads of state visit various sections of the dam and were briefing on the details of construction and its benefits. On Sunday morning, Raisi arrived at Tabriz International Airport and took a helicopter to the Azerbaijani border, approximately 100 kilometers away, to take part in the ceremony. Well, it doesn't say what's going on there. I don't know what happened. Everybody, nobody knows what happened. It seemed that the Iranian people wanted to believe in a miracle. Tens of thousands of residents took to the central streets and squares of cities, holding prayers, vigils. Nobody knows what happened. The rescue operations continued throughout the night, but the incoming information remained highly contradictory. Late in the evening, Iran's deputy foreign minister announced that Imam Mohammad Ali al-Hashem, who was with Raisi, had allegedly made contact twice, complaining that he was feeling unwell. A representative of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, also stated that the helicopter had been located, but this information was later refused by the head of Iran's Red Crescent Society. Similar confusion was observed in the Iranian media. You know, it doesn't say what happened. I guess it was an assassination. Yeah. Yo, it's a huge article. I'm not gonna read it because I have thousands of articles more. Look, British Commonwealth. British Commonwealth. How London ensures that Africa never prospers. Why hasn't the Commonwealth abandoned its colonial nature? We have a photograph of King Charles III and Queen Camilla, view dancers at Fort Jesus, the UNESCO World Heritage Site, on November 3, 2023, in Mombasa, Kenya. The privatization of Africa's state-owned companies is always linked to the US through its financial institutions, the World Bank and the IMF, with the introduction of structural adjustment programs in the 1980s and 1990s. However, the British were behind the exploitation, privatization, and eventual collapse of Africa's state-owned companies, even before the introduction of the so-called neoliberal market agenda by the US. The British have been doing this mainly through their Commonwealth institutions, proudly headed by the monarch. Non-hereditary but inherited. The Commonwealth organization claims the role of its head is purely symbolic, that it has no maximum fixed terms. It is not hereditary, and that future heads will be chosen by the Commonwealth leaders. King Charles III succeeded Queen Elizabeth II as head of the Commonwealth upon her death on September 8, 2022. Anyway, I have my opinions on that. This is just privatization. Yeah, what about that? Well, I didn't understand. Look, I'm just gonna jump to the next subtitle. Britain looking for food and raw materials. Use of the term neocolonialism is internationally attributed to Alex Quaison-Sackey, a Ghanaian diplomat who addressed the General Assembly of the United Nations on April 5th, 1958. It was popularized by Kwame Nkrumah in his book Neocolonialism, The Last Stage of Imperialism, in 1965. Most people think neocolonialism started after most colonies had gained independence. However, the British were the first to start implementing it, with the creation of the British Commonwealth of Nations in 1931. On the basis of the 1926 Balfour Declaration, in 1945, Britain signed the Anglo-American Financial and Commercial Agreement with the US. But when the country started experiencing raw materials and food storages in 1947, coupled with the US long burden, its Labour government decided to find their own non-dollar sources of raw materials and food. Unfortunately, instead of looking inward, they looked at their colonies as their non-dollar source. This led to the Overseas Resources Development Act of 1948, which was enacted by the King George VI, and the establishment of the Colonial Development Corporation, which was charged with duties for securing development in colonial territories. It also led to the Overseas Food Corporation, which was charged with duties for securing the production of processing of foodstuffs or other products in places outside the United Kingdom, and the marketing thereof, and for matters connected therewith. It's too long, it's just too long. I'm not gonna read everything. Commonwealth Development Corporation, Aid Agency, or Cash Machine. I guess it's Cash Machine. That's it, people. And the last one, plunder continues. Yeah, I guess. And what else? Sonel case, the Sonel case. Yeah. And that's it. This was by Dr. Claire Ayuma Muhaya, a senior lecturer at the Department of Theory and History of International Relations, research fellow at the Center for Applied Analysis of International Transformation. Anyway, we have just more 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So we're gonna adjust the headlines as usual. Poland to reveal plans for European Iron Dome. This, I guess, is a joke. May 21, Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that he has been working with other EU leaders on introducing missile defense system. I guess it's too much, it's just too expensive and fail all the time. CGTN now, from China, international society reaffirms commitment to one China principle. This was from May 21st. We have a beautiful Chinese woman. No, not so beautiful. I'm sorry. I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. Xinjiang's high-quality development opening up endeavors yield fruitful results. We have the lot transfer yard of the Horgos port in Horgos, northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur and Autonomous Region. Anyway, recognizing Raisi's stellar contribution to China-Iran friendship. This was from Hanan Hussein. Editor's note: Hanan Hussein, a special commentator on current affairs for CGTN, is a Fulbright recipient at the University of Maryland, the US, and a former assistant researcher at the Islamabad Policy Research Institute. The article reflects the author's opinion and not necessarily the views of CGTN. I guess I'm not gonna read this. I'm not sure. On May 20, Iran officials confirmed President Ibrahim Raisi's tragic death in a helicopter crash in the northwestern East Azerbaijan province. It marks the departure of a polished statement. Raisi helped guard Tehran against external interference while deepening its pragmatic relations within and beyond the Middle East. In China, he will be remembered as a dependable friend who brought two strategic partners even closer. His contribution to time-tested China-Iran ties merits profound recognition for several reasons, but I'm not gonna read anything. We have people visit an international textile exhibition in Tehran, Iran. Anyway, and Lai Ching-te, the troublemaking wild card for everyone. Lai Ching-te, troublemaking for everyone. What? Lai Ching-te will always be a wild card, and he will always be a troublemaker for everyone. He's talking about me? What? I don't know who is here. Oh, Taiwan region, yeah. So anyway, what message does Xi Jinping's Europe trip send about Sino-European ties? I guess that's all for me. By now. I'm just gonna finish the headlines, Mursi. And then I'm gonna do my yoga, I guess. Russia accuses US of seeking to place weapons in peace. This is from CGTN. Russia on Tuesday said the United States was seeking to place weapons in space. A day after Washington vetoed a Russian non-proliferation motion at the United Nations. They have once again demonstrated that their true priorities in the area of outer space are aimed not at keeping space free from weapons of any kind, but at placing weapons in space and turning it into an arena for military confrontation. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova. Yeah, Russia accuses US of seeking to place weapons in space. Yeah, that was. I copied 2 times, and this is from Al Jazeera. Opinion: the neoliberal populism of Milei and Meloni. The leaders of Italy and Argentina represent a new brand of populism that serves not people but the neoliberal order. Yeah, this was from Santiago Zabala and Claudio Gallo. I liked this one because I have Italian citizenship and I want to do something like that. I hate democracy, you know. I guess I'm gonna read this sometime next time, because you know, democracy, I don't know what to say. Democracy is just neoliberalism too. I'm communist, I'm Trotskyist, but this wokeist people, they are just supporting neoliberalism too.
Amor, meu grande amor, não chegue na hora marcada. Assim como as canções, como as paixões e as palavras. Me veja nos seus olhos, na minha cara lavada. Me venha sem saber se sou fogo ou se sou água. Amor, meu grande amor, me chega assim bem de repente. grande amor só dure o tempo que mereça. E quando me quiser, que seja de qualquer maneira. Enquanto me tiver, que eu seja o último e o primeiro. E quando eu te encontrar, meu grande amor.
Latins always thinking about chastity, What about that? Tommy time. And Mercy never. Mercy will be not free. Mercy is complaining. Let's pray for the Akitas. The Akitas not coming now. Just gonna see if they are coming. Sometimes the Akitas come from above, from there. Once we were here, but you know, I guess the last time the Akitas and the Akita came and bite Tommy on his neck, on the back of his neck, and well, the owner got kind of worried about. But and Tommy also bited, or both. How to say bite in the past, isn't it? Tommy both bited the Akita on the mouth, on the, how to say, a dog's mouth. Well, the Akitas never show up again.